All Century 21 real estate offices are independently owned and operated.
Hi, I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker of Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Welcome to the Real Estate Roundtable on 94.3 FM The Talker. I'm here at a remote location with my husband, co-host, fellow realtor, Pat Devaney.
How are you, Jackie? How are you doing today?
Wonderful. How are you?
Are you in a safe, secure location?
I am, due to, a situation out of our control. We are here on a call with Barbara Dahaba, former president and active member of the Laurel Garden Club. Hello.
Hi, Jackie and Pat.
Thank you so much for being here. We're looking forward to our conversation with you today. We're here every Saturday at 11 a.m., Sunday at 11:30 a.m., where we cover many real estate topics. We have a full-time real estate office with many exceptional realtors. We have been listing, selling, and appraising real estate for 50 years.
50 years, wow. During the week, feel free to email us with any questions you have at questions@jruddy.com. That's questions@jruddy.com. Or you can give us a call at 570-344-6724. And when you're at jruddy.com, click on the webcam tab, and we have a roof camera looking at Dunmore Corners, and you can see what's going on at the corners, and thank God there's no more snow.
Oh, yes, for sure. Check us out on social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and Pinterest. And view our listings, search the MLS listings, and listen to archive radio shows by going to mobile-friendly jruddy.com, JRUDDY.com. We also have our radio shows in podcast form on all the popular podcast apps. And when you get there, follow and subscribe and give us a rating if you so choose. It's a great way for me to check and see what people want to hear and what they like to listen to. And so I'm having a lot of fun with that. So check out our podcast.
And what's the name of the show, Jackie? The Real Estate Roundtable, right? With the original?
With Jackie Ruddy, the original show. Yes, yes.
That's right. Don't be falling for those cheap knockoffs.
Okay. Imitation is the most sincere form of flattery, but when someone outright takes a name of another, I don't consider it that way.
No,
so
that's kind of lazy.
Yes, we are the original and the one and only. Okay. And the podcasts are also, the apps are available on jruddy.com on the radio tab, so check it out there. Barbara Dahaba, former president and active member of the Laurel Garden Club. Can you tell me about the club, please?
Yes. The Laurel Garden Club is 65 years old. Started back in 1956. And the mission, of course, is gardening, sharing ideas, working with the community on different things to get people interested in gardening. We've had our meetings on Thursday evenings, but because of the changes over the past year, we've switched to Saturday mornings. And as a matter of fact, we have one coming up, and we do invite non-members. Hopefully you'll like what we have to say and do, and you'll become a member. Our meetings are held these days on Saturday mornings. And the next one coming up is May 15th. And the location is going to be decided. But again, they are outdoors. And we do have a Facebook page, and it's simply under the Laurel Garden Club. And it tells of all our activities and our meeting dates and so forth. At these meetings, we have speakers. So we might talk about insects. We might talk about herbs, making things out of herbs, anything in the natural world, including soil, mushrooms, and so forth. We have an annual plant auction in June, and I am very excited about that. Our members bring in whatever they've dug up in their garden, put them in pots, bring them to the location, and we bid on them. I've gotten some really nice things from the plant auction. Right now I'm looking at this very tall, beautiful pussy willow tree. I bid on it, and I was successful. I got it for $20. It was grafted from a mature plant, or a mature tree. So it's good to increase your garden that way without the cost of going to a nursery.
Plants are very, very expensive.
They could be, yes, they could be. So this is a good way to increase your garden. We have garden tours in the summer. Some of us volunteer to show our gardens. And last year, as a matter of fact, we had a multiple garden tour. We had it staggered so that there were just a few in each garden at a time. Hopefully, we'll be able to do that again this year. In August, we have a summer picnic. These days, it's not as much of a picnic as it was in the old days, but we have it catered. And we have it at establishments that have gardens. We've had it at Constantino's. They have a beautiful patio and a lovely garden with a water feature. Not sure where we're going to have it this year. We also have bus excursions to various sites. And they're open to the public. You get on a waiting list in case there's not enough members to fill the bus. But we've been to places like Morris, Arboretum, Meadowbrook, Chanticleer, Longwood, Winchester, Andalusia. These are old gardens, basically in the Philadelphia area. There are some gorgeous old estates down there and acres of gardens. We do, past few years, we've done a car trip up to Lambertson's daylily farm. If you're interested in daylilies, it's a magnificent place to go. They are for sale. They hybridize the different colors and put names on them. The one I got the year before last is so gothic in color, it looked like Halloween, and that's pretty special. So,
wow.
Yeah. And our membership fee hasn't gone up, $15 per individual, $25 per couple. We also have competition at the meetings as to flowers. We bring in what we have in our yard, 1 to 3 specimens, and they're judged. And we have prizes, raffle prizes, refreshments. So we're always looking for new members.
It sounds like a very active and interesting club. I have to say, gardening takes a lot of time. It's always interested me. And Pat, you're from New York. What do you think about gardening?
I don't know anything about gardening. I know that we lived in Breezy Point down in the Rockaways, and my mother was...
I've been there. That's an interesting place.
Oh, yeah, it's great down there, but my mother was a member of the garden club, and it seemed like my dad got stuck doing all the work, but she'd go to the garden club and come home with all the ideas, and poor old dad would be out there implementing all of these changes. So,
but you've taken to our lilac trees. We inherited those when we purchased our house, and so, but you've really taken to those. I mean, you really care for them year after year, and then you water our summer plants, our hanging baskets. And you give it.
What are you telling them?
Yeah, but and you're very proud of it. But they're beautiful. We always get so many compliments on them. So
on the lilacs or the hanging baskets?
Everything, and our hydrangea bushes, and oh my gosh. So, and you take care of our lawn. You do a lot of things, to make our lawn look really nice in the spring and the summer. So you don't want to admit it, but you do have a green thumb.
He's just being modest. Yes.
So what can we do at this point? It's May, and it's early May, so what are we supposed to be doing with our indoor plants and getting our outside areas ready?
Well, of course, indoor plants, some of them can't even be brought outside, as long as there's no possibility of frost. And the beginning of May recently seems to be all right. However, last year we had a nasty cold spell in May.
Yes.
Where we had snow. I'm not sure if you had it down in the city, but I'm up here in Cherry Ridge, elevation 1,500 feet. I'm in a different zone than the valley, and so I had a lot of damage from it. So I don't recommend putting out annuals until a little later. Or if you're willing to put them in the house while we have those cold snaps, that works too. But just generally speaking, as soon as you can work the soil, which definitely in May is workable. So the local nurseries have all sorts of shrubs and trees and perennials that you can put in the ground, of course. And normally they have the zone that's right for our area. Now, you can, of course, you dig the hole, you amend the soil, you can add garden soil, compost, and gardening is so easy anymore because you can find everything you need at the local nurseries, even including big box stores. So you can find your compost, your garden soil, just add it, with the original soil, put your pot in, and it's good to go. The soil itself, okay, it's good to add mulch. It makes your bed look good. It prevents moisture from escaping. It helps to prevent weeds, and then it breaks down and adds more nutrients to the soil. Treating the soil, I do make a natural solution for weeds, and that is with the white vinegar, salt, and liquid soap. I have a lot of fungus up here. I'm not sure if it's because we're on the shady side of the mountain, but I use the homemade solution of baking soda, dish soap, and water. So, there's ways to treat the soil in a natural way. Plants for shade, okay? I think most of us who at least know something about gardening know about hostas, and there are more than just the old-fashioned hostas. Anymore, they have gigantic blue hostas, which they can grow to 4 feet tall, 5 feet wide. I have some of those. I love them. They have tiny ones. I think one variety is called mouse ears, and they're very tiny. Some of the hostas these days are on the yellow side, lighter, and they can take more sun, because generally, of course, hostas like the shade. I like heucheras in the shade. I have many, many Pallas purple, and I have them also amongst the daffodils, because once the daffodils bloom and you have those unsightly leaves, the Pallas purple covers them. They like the shade as well. I have other heucheras. One's called caramel. That's a greenish caramel color. And I have snow angel, there's a lot of white to it. Maybe people know them by coral bells. They're flowers. You usually grow the heucheras for the foliage, but on the snow angel, because it's so white, the little stems with the bright pink flowers, they do look pretty good. They do look rather dramatic. Ligularia, the rocket, that's good in the shade. That can grow to be 5 foot tall and great big yellow blossoms. There's Japanese forest grass. That's very dramatic. It's a bright yellow color.
Barbara, tell me about indoor plants and how often we're supposed to repot and fertilize them.
Jackie, why do you ask this question? I'm just curious.
Well, because I have a lot of indoor plants.
Really? I hadn't noticed. I'm getting pushed out of the house because there's a whole room of plants. I think she prefers plants to me.
Well, they've been banished to this one room, which is my office, because he doesn't like plants. I don't know why. You don't really care for indoor plants. and you say it looks like lettuce. So I don't, so I keep them out of your way.
Mm-hmm.
How many do you have, Jackie?
Oh, I don't
Really?
know.
Can you count, Jackie?
No, I can't.
That's a good question, Barbara. How many do you have, Jackie?
I do. Okay, so I have about 20 plants.
Oh, God.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have a few more than that.
Yeah, so given the fact that we have a very large home, how many square feet would you say, Pat?
Quite a few, I know. It's like,
okay, so it's really nothing in the grand scheme of things.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Barbara. What was it?
Well,
she wants to stay away from the hot potato.
I just like to tease Jackie.
You have your indoor plants by windows or skylights, right?
Yes.
Unless you have grow lights, yeah. So they do need a certain amount of light. I have quite a few plants on my east window. I have some African violets and some...
Well, what was the question, Jackie? How often do you have to repot them?
Yes.
Is that what that was?
Yes. Do you have to, what do you do with the soil? Do you have to feed them? Do you have to give them nutrients? Or is it just water and then go? What are we supposed to be doing?
Well, of course, once you realize that the plant is too big for the pot, you could kind of tell because what you see is just overpowering the pot, okay? It might be hard to get out of the pot because they do get root bound. You might want to take a knife and just slice around the edge. Mm-hmm. Take it out, get a bigger pot, add more indoor potting soil, and put the whole root mass back in. Tamp the new soil down to the bottom, water, and there you have your plant in a bigger pot. The fertilizing, I should be better at it. I don't have a schedule, although I should. You don't have to fertilize that much in the winter because it's, think of where they would be. They would be out in nature, and there's not that much light. So it's not important to fertilize during the winter, although certain plants might need it. So there's a whole lot of information on the web about something like that. But what I do on occasion, especially in the summer if they're still inside, is just make up some Miracle Grow, and I water them with that. And from what I hear from people who are nursery people, is 2 weeks is a good schedule. So every 2 weeks, it makes sense to fertilize.
Really? That often?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I don't do that, but my plants seem to thrive. So good advice.
So, one thing about plants, and I'm sure you've realized this too, is for every rule you read about plants, you can break them and things just work out fine. Something that doesn't like light, you might have it in the light and is doing fine. So same thing, I think, with fertilizing. I ran into a woman who had orchids, and she said they were blooming. I said, oh, wonderful. What do you do? She said, nothing. I said, you don't fertilize? No, I don't do anything. Whether she was keeping a secret, I don't know. But it just goes to show you, it's whatever rules there are, they plants want to thrive, and so they usually do pretty good.
Barbara Dahaba, former president and active member of the Laurel Garden Club. You said you're on Facebook. Is there a website or a phone number people can call?
Laurel Garden Club. Just put it up in the search line.
And that's and then all your information will pop up. Okay, great. Yeah. Before we go to a break, Pat, would you like to review a listing?
Yes, we have a 2-bedroom, 2-bath home at 4 Railroad Street in Archbold for $124,000. This lovely home, it's got gorgeous hardwood floors, a beautifully updated kitchen, a fenced-in yard, plenty of off-street parking, and it's got really low taxes, way less than $1,000 a year. All of this in a move-in ready home. That's a lovely 2-bedroom, 2-bath home with low taxes at 4 Railroad Street in Archbold for $124,000, and that's listed by Gail Lewis of our office.
Thank you, Pat. We'll return in just a few moments with more Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker.
talented team of professionals at Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. They're not just real estate agents, they're agents of change. They're on a never-ending quest for the best for you and your family. They can help you find precisely what you want at this time in your life. A computer, a website, an app, and a listing by itself can't do that. They're obsessed with better and deliver extraordinary, embracing the what if, not just the what's been done before, with a level of accountability and honesty not found anywhere else in the real estate industry. Don't settle for average, okay, or just all right. This change in your life is monumental, and there's only one Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate that will help you rock that change. Call 570-344-6724 and visit jruddy.com, JRUDDY.com. Each Century 21 office is independently owned and operated.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21, Jack Ruddy Real Estate at 94.3 FM The Talker. I'm Jackie Ruddy, and with my husband, fellow realtor Pat Zavani.
And we're back.
With Barbara DeHaba, former president and active member of the Laurel Garden Club. Thanks for being here with us. You have an active club, and I love hearing all about it. You have a lot of members from the Scranton area.
Yes.
Very
and
good.
I have a question, Jackie.
Yes.
Barbara.
Yes.
Do you know what is the largest irrigated crop in the U.S.?
Crop. Well, I know we use a lot of our water on our lawns.
That's what it is. You are correct. Oh. It's grass. It occupies 2% of the land in the U.S. And I'm watching. I see the commercials for Scott's and this and that. So I just wanted to pass. I thought that was a fun fact. All right. I'm sorry.
Very, very fun. Yes, I wouldn't have guessed that, but
I didn't.
You know your stuff, Barbara. That's what that means. So let me ask you, there's a lot of people that want to start a garden. We're spending so much time in our homes these days, whether we want to or not, but we find ourselves there, and we like our little projects, at least I do. How do you start a garden? And could you help us out with that?
Sure. Pick a spot in your yard that you can see from a window, a porch, because you do want to enjoy things from your house. And there's 4 seasons, not just the growing season in the spring and the summer. So you can start with a tree. There's lovely flowering trees. The dogwoods are lovely. We have tricolor willows, which have nice color throughout most of the growing season. So it's good to start with something large. And then perhaps some evergreens. There's arborvitaes, maybe a Christmas tree, or rhododendrons and azaleas. You have all your interest in the foliage, and then, of course, you have them blooming. So it's good to start with something that's going to be there forever. Then you could pick some perennials. Perennials are the plants that come back year after year. And so you might go by heights. If you're looking at it from a distance, you know how you want it to look. So basically, you're putting the taller plants in the back, maybe medium in the front, and then the lower ones around the front of your space. You don't want to plant rows. You kind of have like groupings, perhaps, you know. When you do groupings, it's good to remember 1, 3, 5, so you just don't have rows. You're not planting vegetables. What you can do to get the plot started, let's just say you have grass there. You can take out the grass. I have this absolutely wonderful spade that I use. It works well for edging. It works well for digging. So what I had done, and can be done, is you edge the spot you like. You could upturn the grass that you took out, and you could add soil on top of it. These days, it seems like landscapers are using like a mound approach. So that's a good way to do it, too, before you even put your plants in. although you don't have to. But once you have plants in the ground that you're going to see year-round and will come up by themselves, as in the perennials, then you could go for your annuals. Who doesn't like petunias? Wave petunias are just gorgeous because they spread. They're good in the sun. There's Shasta daisies, and there's just so many perennials that are out there. I had mentioned some before for shade. There's phlox. There's low phlox, which you could put in the front. There's tall phlox, which you can put in the back, and they like the sun. Daylilies are great. I had mentioned about going to a daylily farm, but you can find them anywhere. And daylilies, you can have a range of daylilies that bloom for most of the season. And you can get some that are a little shorter, some that are a little taller, so you could intersperse your bed with the daylilies for color. So, check out your local nurseries, your garden centers. The people there are knowledgeable, especially if you go to a place like Bud Schultz or Greystone Gardens. They are the ones who do the planting and so forth, and they understand. So you have questions, they're most helpful for you.
Okay, so when we're planting gardens, we're removing the grass. Is there anything we should be adding to the soil before we put the plant in?
Well, you're just going to have the upturned side. Now, this is just something that you could do. It just takes longer. You can just dig the holes, dig out the sod, and just plant there. But if you want it to look attractive, build it up a little bit. So once you have the upturned sod, you can add soil that you might have in your garden, although most of us don't have extra soil. So, again, the nursery, there's garden soil, there's compost, or if you have the type of yard where you can get a load of topsoil, you could put topsoil on top of that and just build it up. Once you have enough soil, you can begin your planting. And then once you have your plants in, including the trees and the shrubs, definitely a layer of mulch makes it look professional, unifies it, and as I mentioned before, breaks down, creates more nutrients in the soil, helps to hold down the weeds and so forth.
What do you think about weed barriers? Are they good or are they bad?
They are terrible.
Oh.
And it's only because I've used them in the past. The weed barriers work for a little while. However, the weed seeds fall on top of the weed barrier. Most people don't have just weed barrier. You have weed barrier and then mulch. So weed seeds come, they plant themselves in the mulch, and the roots go through the weed barrier. So when you're trying to get the weeds out, it's just that much more difficult. However, I'm sure if you pay attention and maybe you kill the weeds before they grow, it might work. But from my experience, I've regretted having used the weed barrier because I ended up pulling it out after a while.
Good to know. Barbara DeHaba, former president and active member of the Laurel Garden Club. Thanks for being here. We have so much more to talk with you about, so would you come back next week?
Sure.
Thank you. Pat, would you like to review a listing?
Yes. We have a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home. It's built in 2006. It's at 7 Glenside Drive in Gouldsboro for $259,000. This home, it's in Big Bass Lake. It's got lake rights. There's an indoor pool, a clubhouse, and there's a new splash area for the kids at the outdoor pool. This ranch home, it's got a built-in garage. It's got a fireplace, beautiful hardwood floors, a fully furnished basement with its own bath and bedroom. There's also a covered front porch and a large 22 by 15 open deck in the rear. That's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home at 7 Glenside Drive in Gouldsboro for $259,000, and that's listed by Connie Seagraves of our office.
Thank you, Pat. Don't forget to tune in next Saturday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 11:30 a.m. to listen to more of the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate and 94.3 FM The Talker.